Do you know how to protect yourself from falling victim to financial fraud? We're going to help you out with that this morning by taking a look at some of the scams that are out there right now and giving you tips on how to avoid them. Now, here are the numbers. Canadians have already lost $283 million to various frauds this year alone. Last year, a whopping $531 million. Joining us now with the info you need to keep your well-earned money in your bank account and out of the pockets of scammers, we have finance expert Barry Choi. Great to have you in.
Good morning.
So when you hear those numbers, you realize this is a big business, and with any sort of business, there's going to be evolution. So we've got some tips on how to protect yourself. The first one I think is pretty obvious, but it's protecting your PIN.
I want to start with the basics, protecting your PIN. How many people have been using the same PIN for literally decades? They use the same PIN for their debit card, their credit cards, they never change. Just recently, my wife just got a new laptop and I asked her what her PIN was so I could log in, and it was my daughter's birthday. I was like, listen, I know this is a personal laptop and the odds of it getting compromised are highly unlikely, but come on, let's just try to choose something a little bit easier to, not so easy to guess. But overall, I would say make sure you're covering your PIN whenever you use it, especially at gas stations, any ATM, just some basic tips, and try to change it annually. I know it's hard to remember, but put it in your phone.
Annually.
Yeah.
Ooh, I don't know that I've literally ever done that. So I'm sure that's really helpful for people. You also recommend having a family safe word, which can help identify identity. This is particularly helpful with things like the grandparent scam. So what is a family safe word? Because we know that AI scammers are getting really good at impersonating people.
The AI scams is unbelievable how great they are at basically replicating our voices and now video these days. So the grandparent scam, for people who aren't familiar, a fraudster calls the grandparents pretending to be a grandchild, doesn't give much information, but having that family safe word that only you, the kids, grandparents, aunts, and uncles knows is one easy way to get those fraudsters off your back, hopefully, right? So essentially, you make sure everyone knows this family safe word, and if all of a sudden your grandparents, your parents are getting a call, you say straight up, what's the family safe word, right? And then if they can't provide it, then you know the person on the other side of the phone is not legit, so just hang up and just move on.
Okay, so phishing scams, we know this, they aren't new, but they've evolved. Scammers are now using things like WhatsApp and texts. I've received a lot of these, and they're wild, Barry, because they're anything from like job offers to telling you that your delivery is delayed and you need to enter info. So how do we protect ourselves against this?
We were talking about this off camera, and it is absolutely wild. Like, I'm not even kidding you. Maybe every other day I'm getting a message from WhatsApp, and first they try to make it very simple, just like, oh, I'm sorry, you know, it was an accident. I didn't mean to text you, WhatsApp you. But then they try to get to know you, and it's a long con for them these days. Or like you said, sometimes it's a job offer. A lot of people will legitimately me looking for a job, and all of a sudden they start getting them trapped into this thing. But overall, I would say, you know, pay attention to any scams that are going on, right? If anyone's asking you to send money, probably a big red flag.
Yeah, so that's our next tip. Be suspicious of anyone who wants you to pay up front. So explain how this works, because scammers can trick people into thinking they're actually getting paid, but then instead you're losing your own money.
This is exactly it. These days, you know, with inflation up, people are looking for better paying jobs. A lot of people have been laid off, so they're desperate, or not necessarily desperate, they're just looking for new jobs. You know, we're talking about LinkedIn, WhatsApp, people are making job offers. So what happens is you go through a huge process. You're interviewing. These scammers have set up fake job websites, fake LinkedIn profiles. So you think you're actually interviewing for a real job. And then when they finally hire you, what they say is like, we're gonna send you a check for, you know, $2,000. What you're gonna do is you're gonna deposit that check, send to your supplier, so then you can get your computer, your desk set up right away. But the second you deposit that check, you don't realize that it's on hold for 2 weeks and it'll bounce, and you won't get that money back because as far as the banks are concerned, you willingly deposited that check. You willingly sent it away. So it's not exactly fraud anymore because you did it on purpose.
Oh, Barry, that's really discouraging to hear, but hopefully some of these tips help to protect our viewers. Thanks for coming on.
No problem.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.